Yeah, the Phoenix Suns did win 134-126. It's a game where you're playing the Jazz Friday night. You're probably not watching it. There's probably not a lot of you watching the pod right now. But the Suns did win. After losing 3 games in a row, they do defeat the Jazz tonight, 134-126. No John tonight. We got JayyyJoyce in the house. How's it going, man? Really glad you can be on the pod tonight. Really glad you could take a shower before you got on the pod. I did the same thing. So that's why I bring it up that you did. I did the same thing, but I did mine at halftime. So we're nice and fresh. A nice fresh win. How you feeling tonight, dude?
I'm doing good. Finally, another win in the win column. I mean, we were stuck at 12 wins for a good minute. So Kevin Durant's back. The vibes are good right now, and we're gonna get into the specifics about everything. But good to talk Suns winning again. So.
Yeah, no, it is definitely nice. With Kevin Durant returning, Beal did not play tonight, so that's usually how this works. We'll get into that for sure. It was a game, Jamsters, where I don't know if you cared too much. You probably just wanted the win. There's a lot going on outside of the Suns when it comes to the court. I want to talk more about that, the outside stuff, the Butler stuff. A little true or false game we're going to play today, so it'll be a little bit different without John tonight. He is out partying this weekend, so you probably have me with somebody else next game as well. So let's get into this one, man. Do you drink? Is there anything you're popping open before we start? I have to ask, of course.
Yeah, so I have this Oktoberfest beer that I got from a client. She's Romanian, and she's
nice
a Vlad Impaler apologist. So this is for her. So
okay. Very cool. All right. Well, I hope you enjoy that. I'm going to enjoy nothing over here because tomorrow night I'll be drinking. So tonight I don't want to ruin that because I can only do it once every month. So not going to ruin the time tomorrow night. Let's go ahead and get this pod started. Well, what do you know? The Phoenix Suns did win tonight. It at times did not have this game under wraps with the Jazz coming back after a 12-point lead, after a 10-point lead. The Jazz made it tough for the Suns. Shooting lights out, 22 3-pointers made tonight. So I got to ask you one.
Matthew, I've got to ask.
I feel like John asks this a lot, but what the hell, man? Because I feel like anytime we play a team, you're supposed to have, I guess, an easy time against a team in the Utah Jazz that are tanking for sure for Cooper Flag next year. And it is a rigged system, so who knows if they're even going to get them. 5-win team this year. You think they can go in, kind of clean house with Durant back, with Beal sitting, but with Yusuf Nurkic and Ryan Dunn back too. You think it would be an easier win. 22 points, 22 threes made by the Jazz tonight. Did you think the Jazz had a chance to win this? Or did you know, like, hey, KD's back, he's going to kind of close this one out? Or did you really think that the Suns might lose 4 in a row?
With KD being back, I thought, we were solid from the get-go. But, lights out shooting from the Utah Jazz. Was not expecting that. It started off rip with Walker Kessler hitting 2 back-to-back threes in the corner. Bud had Nurk in the drop. Nurk didn't go out and pressure that 3 at all, which I don't blame him. But all of a sudden, Walker Kessler's hitting threes, and then everybody seemed like they were hitting in that first quarter. The first 7 minutes, the Utah Jazz looked like prime Golden State. So that was really annoying. And then Clarkson was hitting his stuff. And, it was just a night where it was just a lot of tough shot making. It's not like we're slouching on defense, really. I mean, we're up in the grill in a lot of those threes. And, just down the stretch, we did tighten up on defense, and it was hard for Utah to, close out in the fourth. But, a win is a win is a win, So you take what you can get, and there's going to be teams that, just shoot lights out on any given night. So.
Yeah, and it was 22 for the Jazz, 22 for the Suns as well. And I feel like a lot of those threes came late in the game, especially from Royce O'Neal, who had a huge game tonight, including Ryan Dunn, who stepped up with Bradley Beal being gone. You had those two step up big. much needed with Tyus Jones as well. And I want to ask you another question too. The way that the league is now with the threes, I mean, is this something that you can stand to watch? Because I haven't talked with you all season long yet, but is this something that you can stand to watch with the NBA and the Phoenix Suns? Because any fast break now, you see someone stepping behind the line, they're shooting the three, obviously moving the ball around the perimeter with 4 feet behind the line. Every team shooting the three. There's not really any attack mode. Are you okay with this? Because I'm fine with it. I feel like I shot a three from NBA range, and it's very difficult. So it does take a lot of technique to do. So, there is still a lot of talent there when needed to shoot the three. I just feel like there's always an argument against this where people are like, there's just no talent anymore in the NBA. You just shoot threes. But to me, I still think it's a beautiful game. Are you feeling the same? Because after tonight's game with 22 points, 22 threes each, I was just like, we're going to have to talk about this because I do enjoy it. But how do you feel about it?
This also kind of segues into like the whole viewership thing, and like it kills the product in a sense. I feel like this aspect of the game is not really killing the game. Like hot shot making is just as appealing as guys driving to the rim and finishing, dunking and whatnot. The swing, finding the open guy three is just beautiful basketball. I mean, prime San Antonio. I mean, that's what their niche was. It was finding the open shooter. Always and consistently. And it wasn't until like the Rockets and Golden State really amped that up, for the time back in, between 2016 and 2019, when that really kicked off. And then there was a little bit of a slower stage after, the prime Golden State years. And then Boston kicked it back up again. I don't think the 3-point shooting kills the game in a sense. I know there was a clip floating around on Twitter when the Suns played the Lakers last, and it was just 3-point shot it was 3-point shot, 3-point shot, 3-point shot. And it was a 30-point blowout at that point. And I don't think the shooting kills the product of the game. If a team is hitting the shots and the other team isn't, I mean, it's just a math problem at the end of the day. So
I think so too. I think a lot of the injuries have something to do with it too.
Yes. Yeah.
Plus, maybe there's just so much forced down our throats with the NBA Cup too. The NBA Cup's coming up. I don't really care. Your thoughts on the Suns kind of missing it? Are you okay with it? You talked about it last pod, but I want to get your take really quick.
Last year, I really wanted it just because we had everybody healthy, and it was kind of like the first one. And this year, it just started the season. It just seemed like the NBA just got hit with a huge injury bug, and we were included. So, the comp is still pretty good in this cup thing, but I'm worried about April, June. I'm not really worried about the cup as of right now. So.
Yeah, no, I feel the same way, and I think that having these guys back right now, healthy. We're going to talk a little bit about the trade rumors right now. We're going to play a game. It's called Truth or Dare, or actually True or False. It's a difficult game to follow, so I hope Jamsters, you can follow along at home. Please give us your thoughts in the chat, or shout them out loud if you want to, if you're by yourself. But let's get into it. Yeah, a little throw together drop right True or false. It's going to get a little intense in here, but I want to start with Durant being back. So Durant is back. Obviously, he brings a lot to this team, not just the shooting, but the defense as well. You just notice him so much in the paint. But let's talk a little bit about KD.
Who the heck are you? I'm Kevin Durant. You know who I am. Y'all know who I am.
Did anybody see a sniper? Did anybody see anything?
I'm one of the best players to ever play the game.
Kevin Durant, his usual 30 points, comes in. He plays some great defense down low. He had one block shot, one steal tonight, but you kind of felt his presence, even though the Jazz scored 100 points in the first 3 quarters, or 100 plus in the first 3 quarters. It was nice for KD to be back, have his length, have his build down there too. I think, heading into the All-Star break, and then if, things are going okay to where they kind of keep this team together, before the trade deadline, they just decide hey, we're not going to trade anybody. With this current team that the Suns have, you kind of see how much they struggled, obviously, without Kevin Durant. So I wanted to ask you, true or false, does Kevin Durant have a chance at the MVP this year?
I say true. If voters stay true to their word with how they categorize what an MVP is. I think the Suns have shown through this season that Kevin Durant is probably one of the most valuable players in today's game. I mean, Jokic has been playing insane. Shea's been really good. Luka and Dallas have been really, really good. And it's just annoying how the criteria changes every year. If we're going off of what the last 5 years have been, it's been the most valuable player in times of adversity and, really showing out. Kevin Durant's been that guy. This Suns team without Kevin Durant is basically a lottery team from what we've seen.
Yeah.
And so Kevin Durant comes in today and everyone seemed comfortable, especially Booker. So, Kevin Durant, I think deserves to definitely be on the ballot as of right now. But we'll see by the end of the season. I think it'll probably go to either Shea, Luka, or Tatum.
Yeah, I like how you did mention Tatum because I feel like that's my pick. I feel like he just is going to get it this year. It's just the way it's going to go. It's fair. It definitely is. But the way the Suns are playing with KD, and if he can stay healthy, maybe miss a few more games here or there to show hey, we're complete shit without him. And we don't make the trade for Butler. We actually just kind of ride this through. We obviously are going to hold a lot, I think, upon Kevin Durant's shoulders heading into the postseason. During the whole season, and the way he's been playing is lights out. You just definitely notice him a lot more than you did last year on both ends of the floor. So I think the fact that he's holding up on both ends, and you don't really want to get to Jokic again, and sometimes it's hard to give it to a guard, and the way that KD is winning one MVP already, I feel like on this team it just makes sense for him. So in the chat, I did ask you to say true or false. I didn't get a response at all from anybody, so we're not going to go through that one. But let's play. All right, I'm not going to play that anymore. But let's go with, you were talking about Booker you weren't talking about Booker. You were talking about the lottery team thing. So there was a comment made on ESPN about how this team, I forget who it was, and I don't know why, but I forgot who was talking about it. But I think it's all kind of in our minds that this team is a lottery team without Kevin Durant. I mean, we showed it the 0-3 recently struggles with Bradley Beal and Booker at the helm, and they had all the help they needed from everybody around them. Everybody stepped up big in the absence of KD. But Booker and Beal still couldn't get it done. So true or false, is this team really, and you already answered it, a lottery team without Kevin Durant?
Playing like one and playing like one and being one are like two different things. Like you just mentioned, the role players stepped up. I mean, Royce was pretty consistent. Mason Plumlee was putting in good minutes. Tyus Jones and Monte Morris both stepped up when we needed scoring. And it was just Booker and Beal not getting it done. It was hesitation. It was second guessing, not taking what the defense was giving you. And it was very frustrating, especially all the years that we've seen Book just absolutely torch teams when he's the only guy out there. And I was on a live with D-Rock and Trevor Booth earlier, and I mentioned there's kind of no excuse for Book to be playing that way, considering the stretches of games where Chris Paul would be out or DeAndre Ayton, and he's like the sole scoring guy on the court, and we just haven't been seeing that on-ball creation, this season, and it's been a little depressing. But going against the Jazz, I mean, they're a big team filled with a lot of talent. They could definitely beat anybody on any given night. A Book was comfortable, and I think part of it was due to Kevin Durant being on the court, but Book just needs to be consistent and do what he does best, and it's just score the rock. And if Budenholzer is telling Book to settle for threes instead of what he typically does with the middies, then we definitely need to change that, because Book on attack mode is one of the better players in the league. So Book just needs to be better, more consistent, and hopefully tonight is the start of that.
Yeah, I hope so. And when it comes down to the coaching, and if he's just put in different position, obviously this year is shoot threes. That's what you're supposed to do. That's when you're on the court, you're supposed to shoot a three. And now that Booker's gonna maybe adjust into that more. He's not really a 3-point shooter, obviously, right? Shooting 34% this year.
Right.
I think that it might just be the adjustment, but also, do you think he has a say in that to kind of just be like, you know what? this isn't really my natural position. I want to attack more, like you said, play more the way he did a couple years ago. But also, it's like, does it have to do with Beal and like him having to do more?
Yeah.
And do you think having the trade maybe with Jimmy Butler might put him in a better position, because him being the only 2 guard out there and having a point guard in Tyus Jones and having a true 3 in Jimmy Butler, I just think it makes more sense, obviously, and Booker would be more comfortable. But do you think he has to say, or do you think he's okay with just kind of going with the flow? Because I feel like that's the way KD is. So maybe Book's like okay with it, and he's just like, I'm still going to do my thing. If we win or lose, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, like a lazy answer. I think it's a little bit of both. I think clearly there's an offensive system here that works, and Book just needs to sort of buy into it, but at the same time, take what the defense gives you. I don't think Bud is going to give Book shit for finding a better shot than forcing an ugly one. So if Book just does his thing, and like no one can really guard Kevin Durant, Kevin Durant's going to do his thing, and with Beal on the court, it is like we've been seeing the redundancy. Both of those guys are on the court at the same time, one of them is out of position, like always. So to start the season, we were starting to see Olympic Book, and it seemed like we were kind of going towards that direction, and Beal sort of be more of like the downhill sort of attacker, but we just weren't seeing that, and it was due to like injuries, and then just like the system not really fleshing out as good as it can. So definitely the redundancy with both Book and Beal being on the court at the same time, especially if Kevin Durant isn't on the court either, then it just looks even more clunky. But yeah, if the trade was to happen, and I'm guessing we'll talk about this later, if you put Jimmy Butler in the 3 spot, I mean, the fit is seamless and things will be a lot more smoother.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about that next. But before we get to that, Sunspeed Raider Theory said false. So thank you for answering in the chat. False. We are slightly better than a lottery team. So that's the worst spot to be in. Either you're a lottery team or a championship contender. I don't want any in between at all. So let's do the the Jimmy Butler one. Excuse me. So Jimmy Butler obviously dyed his cornrows. It looked like orange, right? So he's been dyeing his hair with matching every team that he wants to be traded to, whether it's a coincidence or not. You know how Jimmy is. He just will do things like that. It kind of stir things up, right? He maybe wants his contract in Miami, and he's just trying to get more attention, saying I'm going to go elsewhere. But first he dyed his hair. It was a yellow for Golden State, then a red for Houston Rockets, then a blue that looked just like the Dallas Mavericks blue, and now it's orange. So the rumors are that Jimmy's number 1 team right now is the Phoenix Suns. So true or false that Jimmy Butler before the end of the trade deadline is a Phoenix Sun?
I'm about 60-40 with it, with Butler being a Sun. If this really just starts and ends with Beal waives his no trade clause, we could definitely make the trade work in a sense. And you probably saw that Thomas Bryant trade that happened today. I thought it was the Butler trade going on.
I know. I saw that. Like, wait, what? That's not the right guy. That's not Jimmy Butler.
Now announce Butler.
Yeah, I know. But clearing this roster spot, who knows?
Probably shredding some cap and all. But yeah, I'm about 60-40 with the trade, happening. I think it will probably happen before the deadline because, with how the aprons are and how the new CBA is, there's kind of no point of waiting. You might as well just pull the trigger. And, as of right now, Jimmy Butler would be on a rental. And even if we do this trade and Jimmy Butler, and we only get Jimmy Butler as a rental and we don't plan on extending him, I mean, that opens up a shit ton of cap, going into the offseason, and we can really bring in some other talent too. So there is a long game here to get off of this Beal no trade clause contract. And plus, I don't mind paying Jimmy Butler the $50 million. Exactly what we need Bradley Beal to do, Jimmy Butler does, seamlessly. So I don't mind paying that with the no trade clause. I mean, that's just a plus in it itself. But if we do end up extending Jimmy Butler, I mean, the big 3 of Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, and Jimmy Butler, with Tyus Jones being our starting point guard. And then if we were to, mess with the center position a little bit, we're looking like a WCF, contender for sure. In my humble personal opinion. I don't know what your thoughts are. I really haven't been listening to much Suns content with us losing, so I wanted to.
Yeah, I don't think anybody really is. I'm not listening either or watching the games. I just make this shit up as I go. And one thing that might have been made up today was Bradley Beal with a little bit of a knee swelling. Just was a late scratch
Yeah.
for the Suns tonight. So, the speculation, obviously, with Beal being involved in rumors, traded to Miami Heat for Jimmy Butler. Obviously, he has to agree to go. And who wants Bradley Beal? But obviously, if you have a disgruntled player now in the NBA, anything can happen. And that's why, beginning of the season, it was always a question, who's going to be traded? Is it going to be Beal if this stuff doesn't work out? Well, you can't do Beal, like you said, right? No trade clause. Yeah, but things happen. They just happen, right? There's no more. No, you can't do this. I'm not hearing that anymore. And that's the way I've always been with these contracts. It doesn't matter to me. I don't think contracts matter at all. They haven't for about a few years to me.
Yeah.
And so Bradley Beal, I think, if he wants to go somewhere where he can contribute still, and, Miami can't really lose Jimmy and not have someone step up in his place. Obviously, with the injuries, it's scary, but, you want to go somewhere and you want to just be in a place that's not going to have like the high strain of like, oh, you got to win now or else we're going to kill you on Twitter, right? Because that's the way it is here right now in Phoenix.
Mhm.
It's a difficult situation for Beal, but I do think that tonight with the swelling, it was like, okay, well, what's going on? And then he wore a beanie and it said "end" on it. So I'm like, oh man, is he, throwing one back at Jimmy Butler, saying like, yeah, this is the end. It's a little trippy because I feel like the late scratching was super weird. Like, how weirded out were you when you heard that? I know you're not watching any of the games or listening to anything, but when you did hear that Beal's not in, it's like, what the fuck? Are you serious? Like, can we just have these guys healthy? Or were you thinking like, hey, like, is this a reason? Is there a reason behind it? Is he sitting because something might be happening soon? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
There's been a lot of chain of events in the last 48 hours. It was a cornrows with the matching, shoes, and then Shams, doubling, tripling down on, his report that, the Sun, they keep an eye out on the Suns.
Yeah.
And then like we've been off for a week and, Beal was fucking healthy, last game. And, like right before the game, he leaves shootout early, according to Dwayne Rankin. And and he wasn't, on the bench for a good while. I heard from Coach Evan B. He was at the game tonight. Shout out to him. He said that they're like the second quarter or midway through the third, he finally came out and had that great beanie on. And then I saw people were talking about, oh, what's his beanie meaning and all that. It's all very weird. We're definitely at the Penn Sylvia sort of thing with the Jimmy Butler thing. Just like Charlie just freaking out. But man, like it is weird. And Bradley Beal, he's such a good guy. He's such a family man. I was really excited when we got him and stuff. And, sometimes, just stuff just doesn't work out and the timing just isn't right. I feel like if we would have got Kevin Durant a year earlier, we would be looking a lot different. If we got Beal a year earlier, or if Beal decided to compete, for actual championship and not, the bag in a sense. I'm not going to blame anybody for chasing the bag, but if he prioritized a ring a little sooner, I mean, we might be talking about a different team here. But, sometimes just timing doesn't work. Beal has had the season from hell last season. It was injury after injury. He couldn't get anything going. And, I couldn't blame Beal for last season. Everything was all messed up. And then, this season, he's been pretty good when he's been on the court, but it's not exactly what we need. So I think the front office sees that. I think Matt Ishbia sees that. I think James Jones sees that. And even NBA insiders see that too. And I feel like everybody's in the consensus that maybe the Suns do need to change up the big three a little bit.
Isn't that crazy though? The 8-1 start, and then now it's like if we go on these 3-game losing streaks and we can't win without Kevin Durant, it's just like nothing else matters until I feel like the Suns make a change.
Yeah.
Like you can say if they are healthy, this team is great, right? But that's the thing is like we can't stay healthy, and Beal just is struggling, man. If tonight's like a real injury and he's just cut, like he's just not going to play. Yeah. Obviously, they probably don't need him against the Jazz. I think it's more painful for Suns fans because we just don't want to wait. We want to continue to see this team strive when they're actually fully healthy and not just kind of missing games here or there. I think the way that, Beal can kind of look at it too is like you said, he's a family man. I don't know. We don't know the dude. I walked by him once, but like he seems nice. He smells nice. I think I think that he's obviously a guy that I'm not gonna say the pressure is too much or anything like that, but it's not like you're giving up if you get traded, right? It's like this didn't work.
no.
It's more on like Matt Ishbia, like taking the chance on Beal and being like, hey, you know what? I just wanted the big name. I wanted to put 3 fantastic, offensive players out there and just, one of the best players of all time, Booker and Beal, good players in the NBA right now. Not great. They're good. Booker was great tonight, but just having that firepower, like that looks like we're going to win. Surround them with good players. We're going to win a championship. And it just seems like it was maybe just a mistake. So, you know what I mean? So to kind of swallow his pride and be like, you know what? The big three, this big three, whatever you want to call it, might not work. It's okay to do that. And it's okay, I feel like, on Beal's side to be like, if I go to Miami, or there was hints of like a three-team trade where he might go to Chicago or something like that out east, the pressure's not as big right now for those teams because they're not expected to win a championship. Like this team has to win. And does Beal want to be still in this mess? If there are injuries and he continues to go down, like how frustrating is that for him, and how not maybe embarrassing, but to continue to just be on the ground and just holding an ankle and stuff. Like I feel bad for the dude, but like how frustrating is on his end to be like, I am really trying, but I cannot stay healthy. And I feel like I'm just letting this organization down. So why not just go somewhere else and just be like, it just didn't work and I can't stay healthy. And I know this team wants to win a championship. They have a great unit around Kevin Durant. Durant will probably want to leave too or not re-sign here if we can't get good guys around him. So why don't I help this organization out? So I think there's a lot of different ways you can go with things and ways to look at it, but it just makes sense for both ends. I know like Miami getting Jimmy Butler or getting Bradley Beal is like, that sucks. But Jimmy Butler, he doesn't want to play with Miami anymore. He wants to be gone, or else he wants to be re-signed for more money. But I just feel like he wants to be gone. So it's something that just it takes my mind away from the games. Like, what about you, man? Like when you're watching tonight's game, we have to play Portland Sunday. Like, obviously you want to win, but do you care until we figure this thing out and what we're going to have moving forward? Because it just feels like everything's so up in the air. It's like, I want to root for the Suns, but it's like, is this going to be our team? Because right now I'm just like, I don't really care until we can figure this thing out and things are definite. Like we either have Beal or we have Butler going forward. How are you feeling about that?
Yeah, we're definitely kind of like in a purgatory state for a lack of terms. Like what I thought we would hit the ground running, like how I thought going into last season and stuff. And to start this season, like I was really hoping Beal would figure it out because I've been like a Beal truther. I do see that player in him. Like he wants, like you see how hard he's trying. He tries really hard, and he tries not playing goofy and reckless and all that stuff. And like it. To be, a guy, you're very prideful. We have egos, and it sucks. Like when you play like shit, and there's just nothing you can do, and especially on both sides of the court. But luckily, this season, Beal's defense has been really good, in my opinion. It's just the offense really hasn't been there. And at a certain point, as an organization, at a certain point, as a third option, not holding up your end. You don't want that conflict. You like in the locker room and stuff. You can only say the same points so many times until it resonates. I mean, we saw that with DeAndre Ayton, and you can go back with Josh Jackson and Eric Bledsoe. I mean, you can just keep going back. When we need more from a guy and he can't contribute. I mean, there's only so much you can do, and I don't think the coaching is the issue. I don't think the supporting cast is the issue, really. And we do have a few points to address if we're going to compete in the summer, and it's the center position, and it's Bradley Beal, what he's doing and not doing. We need to have impact in the West. We need to be physical because like tonight, like Utah was just running through us, and we can only, defend inside the perimeter like so much, because of the lack of size. But, just thinking of Jimmy Butler, Ryan Dunn, and Kevin Durant on the court at the same time, all that length, all that defense what it it does something to me, like, so I'm grasping at straws here. I want this trade to happen just for the betterment of the team and even for Beal, because he's a good guy, and I want him to go to a place where there isn't much expectation, and he can be what he wants to be. And I think, like, if Milwaukee wants to do something crazy, get off the Middleton thing. Pick up Beal, have him be the second option, have the three core be Damian, Beal, and Giannis, and I mean, you're kind of cooking there if they want to do something. Beal definitely has a spot in the league, and he doesn't necessarily need to go to some sort of shitty team in the East. He can definitely play for a contender. I think it just really depends, really.
Yeah, I think it does depend. I just think that things are kind of soured between the team, like some of these players too, like even Nurkic. We're going to talk about him in a second. These players are just, I feel like Grayson Allen too, like last year he had a post-game press conference where he was talking about just telling the fans to chill out. Like, you're booing us, we're trying our best, basically. Like, just try to support us through this. So it always just seems like there's a struggle between the fans and the players, just kind of not getting along and not supporting each other in the right times. But it's difficult, I guess, because we want that championship. We can't help it now. You know what I mean? It's like we've seen what it's like, right? And we didn't get it. It's like, hold on, wait. We're falling so far away from it right now. Or like there's like a little bit of light left, little bit. Even though Matt Ishbia thinks there's a lot of light, it's like we just see a little bit of light where this is like it's this year or next year. Mm-hmm. There's no more two-year window. I think it's this year, every year from here on out. Unless we restart completely and just get a bunch of like if Booker was traded for somebody else, like if we were to actually do that, get Kevin Durant out of here and get somebody else, still all-star level, then maybe it's like, okay, 2-year window. But right now I think it's year to year. But I want to bring up Jason Sanchez, his comment. We would give Beal a standing ovation every time he came here if he got us Jimmy buckets. So I believe in that, because it's like we can't help, or Beal couldn't help with the injuries or anything like that. So it's not like an Ayton thing as much, because Ayton just didn't give a fuck, and you can still see it. You can still see it in Portland. He's going to be tradable again. I think that he tried his best here, and maybe it's just time to move on. But who knows? I mean, they might keep it together. But let's talk about Nurk a little bit.
Nurk. Delicious definition, make them boys go crazy.
Oh.
Nurk had 12 points, 7 rebounds. He played 31 minutes tonight, so he did return too with Kevin Durant. Also, Ryan Dunn did return with 13 points. So that's the other thing too. We're talking about the center position and how do the Suns get better at the center position? Do you think it's even possible? Because I'm on the end of, we have either with the trade or with no trade, we have 3 great players, or 2 good, 1 great. But if Jimmy's here, I feel like he's kind of ready. He's a great player. If we can get 3 of those players and just have the guys surrounding him, and we have decent centers, I feel like it should be good enough, because you have guys, Kevin Durant, Booker, and Beal or Butler, that should win you the games. But do you think, so if the Suns make the trade for Butler, that is good enough? Or how do they upgrade from Nurk, do you think? If they have.
If we do the Butler trade, I think we definitely need to. I mean, I think regardless, we do need to address the center position in some sort of way, either add depth or get off of the Nurkic thing. Just because it is kind of a hole. I mean, even tonight, I'm not really going to blame him for the Walker Kessler threes. I mean, that was kind of unprecedented. I probably wouldn't have closed down on those if it was me. But like, he's just, slow in rotations, even when he's in the paint and stuff. And again, like the first 4 minutes were atrocious from Nurk, and then he got those 2 early fouls. But he had a pretty solid game, closing out. I mean, he had some nice defensive stops. He has some good boards, a good box outs to let Tyus Jones grab it and take off and run. He had a lot of good play tonight, but it's not consistent. And I wish it was, because earlier this season he had a good week and a half stretch of it. It was just good Nurk game after good Nurk game. So it was like we thought he was finally turning the corner, but then he just injured both of his ankles and he was out for a while. So, but if the trade is there, I would do it. I wouldn't just trade him for Nick Richards, even though Nick Richards, I mean, he's fine, but he's not gonna, he's not gonna leave a impact. And there's gonna be people on Suns Facebook and Suns, X,
Yeah.
Twitter saying like anybody but Nurk. But, Nurk is huge. Not everybody's going to drive it in on him. He's a 300-pound, beast, Bosnian beast. And he's an intimidating guy, driving into the paint. And he does what he needs to do. And the last 2 years, we've kind of asked him to do a lot. So the more that we dumb down what he needs to do, I think he can be pretty decent. And now we've seen what Oso can do. We've seen how consistently good Mason Plumlee can be.
Yeah.
And they're not physically opposing, but, they're sneaky athletic. They play the dunker spot really well. So there's definitely ways to, navigate around it. But, if we can add some depth to the center position, that would be great, but, like if the trade is available for Nurk to at least get marginally better, even like Thomas Bryant, he's not like a starting center, but like, you can give him like, 15, 20 minutes. I mean, that's he can give you solid center play, especially in the dunker spots. So just anything like that, just rim rolling, keep it simple center, kind of what Jared Allen does.
Yeah. And I'm on the side of we just keep him. I just don't think you can get any better. I do love Mason Plumlee and Oso. Like, I think you just continue to explore that. I think we have an okay rotation at center, and I don't think it comes down to the center. I think it comes down to the health of Kevin Durant, and if he can stay healthy, because he helps out on the boards, he helps out around the rim. Like, he is definitely a defensive presence, like I mentioned earlier this year. But I saw something in the chat about I think they hear. Oh, I don't know. That's a lot to read. Let's not.
I read all that.
I saw something about like a press conference. I don't know. What I don't want to see this year though is the press conferences and just the reactions of the players. In a way, like last year, kind of like when Durant was talking about like it's a make or miss league, and Booker was kind of just like I did a lot during the regular season, so there's nothing really to prove here anymore. And it's just about the playoffs. I just hope we don't get to that point to where we're doing the same thing last year. It's not the same team. I think this is a better team for sure. It's a better coach team, I guess. They're buying in, so I'll say it's a better coach team. But also, it's like I don't want them to get back to being like, all right, well, win or lose, it's fine. I want some more heart into these games, and I want some more just energy and stuff. You know what I mean? So I think Ryan Dunn coming back obviously gets that. And the defensive end, he had 13 points tonight, like I said, a couple big threes. So you see the young guys still stepping up off and on. Like Oso was really good there for a stretch, and then Ryan Dunn kind of fell off. But now Ryan Dunn comes back from injury. Even before he got injured, he was kind of falling off a little bit. He comes back, and he just had a really good game tonight. But the energy can't just be with, I feel like, the rookies. I think these guys really have to continue to maintain this high level of like, they want it, right? They want to win every game and just get that number one seed out west if possible. Just it's still obtainable. Do you see this team kind of doing that? Because, besides the injuries, besides like the fact that there might be a trade, do you see this team maybe taking a step up? Because tonight the energy I felt like was there. The want was there. There was a little bit of cutthroat there in the first half from Booker. I like to see that, and we need to see that more. So do you think this team, I got to ask, like, are they actually seeing what's being said on Twitter? Are they actually seeing the headlines that this team is a lottery team without Kevin Durant? Are they responding to that, do you think? Or do you think they just know that Jimmy Butler's coming? They're excited.
I think all these players have burner accounts, so I don't think it's just the Kevin Durant thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll never advocate and be okay with complacency, because that always bleeds into the final product, getting to that. I like during the regular season, I get it's long. I get there's going to be stretches where you're not all clicking, it's an 82 game season, it like there's going to be times where, the team's not clicking fully unless if you're just an absolute superpower. But I expect, the Suns to come out every game executing the game plan. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, like I can, unlike, most of NBA Twitter, I can deal with missed shots. If we're taking good shots, if we miss it, it's like, hey, it's just not our night, but it's the turnovers, it's the bad defense. It's everything else that, pisses everybody off. It's seeing Nurkic, like right off the rip to like right when tip happened, it was like a turnover like right away. It's like, okay, it's like we're already starting, this BS, every game and stuff. So it like as long as the Suns come out and compete every game, I'm not going to be here, bitching. There's always going to be things to, work on, with closing out on defense, not fouling, down the stretch and during crunch time. And, there's just to win basketball games, it isn't just hitting shots, so it's a collective thing, so like a book needs to set an example for the rest of the teams. And we have a somewhat older team. So like it's a team full of vets, like been there, done that sort of guy. So, they're going to come out, just being whatever. And, that's unfortunate. And, with the, how much they get paid too. I mean, it's just another layer to like, how much do they care during the regular season? But, I'm an advocate for consistency and, just building up that continuity and just being on the same page, because as long as we can execute every game and, we're going to win some and lose some. And as long as we play hard and play like we give a F, I probably used all my cuss words for the night. If we give a F, then, I'm not going to be here complaining, if there's a trade down the pipeline of this Jimmy Bucket saying, it should be more of a incentive to play harder and show, show that we can't compete with anybody in the league, and we shouldn't just be barely beating the Utah Jazz by 8 points. It's a 5-win team, man. So
Yeah, I know. Then that's where I kind of get back to my other point to start the pod, where I just don't care right now with these games, and I think it's just because the trade, but also it's just like, I don't know. I just feel like the lack of energy heading into this game. But then I saw some more tonight, so I'm kind of back on board. But like I'm like with you, the losing and stuff, it's just hard to take right now because of the effort that's been given. And just Booker and Beal unable to win without Kevin Durant. But I think this whole thing's been really tough on a lot of fans and the players maybe as well. Grayson Allen for sure. I mean, he's still kind of struggling. He had 8 points tonight. He's just not the same dude. I don't see it. As luckily we have Royce O'Neal really stepping up. So let's get into the Jam Star really quick.
Jam Star of the game.
Like, subscribe, go ahead and write us a review too, a 5-star review if you please can. And also like, subscribe, and write us a review, a 5-star review if you can, please. Also, where can they follow you, JayyyJoyce? At JayyyJoyce?
Yeah, so it's JayyyJoyce, JayyyJoyce Joyce on Twitter. Yeah, so that's it. You can find me there and see me talk shit and lose my mind over refs. So
yeah. Oh, really quick too, I actually threw that in the notes. So I'm for getting rid of the challenge and just maybe the last minute you have one challenge, or the last 2 minutes of the game, because I just don't think that games are really swung by one play in the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, or early fourth quarter. Do you believe that? Why are we challenging these plays so early in the game? Who gives a fuck? There's so much left in the game.
Yeah.
I'm sick of it. I can't stand it, because the last 2 minutes, last 5 minutes of the game it takes forever because of the fouls and all that shit. They got to get rid of that too somehow. Right. But right now, with the challenges earlier in the game, I just can't stand it. What are your thoughts on that? Really quick before Star.
Yeah, this is a funny conversation because Bud keeps on losing these, and it's like always in the beginning of the game,
row or something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I think challenges should only be in the like in the second half, and I think you're allowed 2 maybe if you're rewarded 2 if you win the first one. So I think down the stretch, I think it would be I mean, just an example tonight. So like you saw that Nurkic block on Lauri Markkanen. It was all ball.
Yeah.
And
you don't have a challenge for that.
And you don't have a challenge for that because you wasted it on some dumb shit in the beginning of the game. That's where you use a challenge. It's like it's within crunch time. I think it happened like right at the 5-minute mark. So like I'm cool with challenges just being in the second half of the games. In the beginning of the games, it's pointless. Like the game is already long enough. We just need to we just need to keep it going. So
I don't get it. I really don't. My girlfriend's kid plays junior high basketball, and going to those games, I'm frustrated with the refs. Obviously, there's frustration with the refs at any game you go to, and no matter what level it is. But still, it doesn't matter because I feel like you can be frustrated, review it, and then the next possession you're still frustrated on another call. So I just don't get it. I think it needs to go away. It should have never came. I can't stand it. But Jamstar, who do you got? You got Booker? Who do you got tonight? Booker?
Looking at the box score, I'm actually gonna give it to Royce O'Neal.
Good. I like that one.
Yeah, like he's been consistently good, and I don't know how many Jam Stars he's going to win this year, but Royce's defense has been great. He's been good on the drive and kick, and he's been hitting us threes when we need him to. And the Kevin Durant Royce 2-ball game has been really solid when they're both on the court together. Yeah, I'm gonna give it to Royce. He's been really good. Rolls Royce.
I'm gonna give it to Booker. I like the fact that Royce, Tyus, they've been so consistent, right? And I think that's why we're kind of talking about Grayson Allen maybe being involved in a trade. Who knows if they can upgrade there? But you kind of just have that Grayson Allen now from last year. That's what Royce has stepped into, right? Don't you think? Like he's just been that guy. Obviously, he's not shooting at the highest percentage like Grayson Allen did last year. But I feel like Allen's kind of fallen off. He's trying to find himself still, and it's kind of hard to watch at times. But we'll get to the Jamsters here. Let's see what they said. Oh, David Ray, what no subreddit stakeout? I totally forgot till right now. I remember before the game, but I think I was working so hard on that true or false that no one gave a fuck about. that I kind of moved on from that. So I do apologize. Man, I feel like we've been slacking a little bit on Suns Jam session. So anyways, Michael Cole, let's go Booker all day, baby. I'm going to give it to Booker too. I think it was a really strong game from him. A little bit of cutthroat there in the first half. I like the fact that he was kind of talking shit a little bit. He seemed like in the older book a little bit. So I love to see that, man. Rau said, I wish they traded Book. I'm with you on that too. Jamstar, but I wish we got rid of Booker. Neath Kettles for Jamstar is Kendall. Apparently Kendall. So is Kendall back? I don't know. Who cares? I mean, I was gonna ask you too. With the whole news with like Drake and Jay-Z and all that stuff, I know Booker's kind of caught up in that world. How do you think this affects guys like that hang out with these dudes? Like, what do you think? Like, I don't know if you care, but like, I guess I kind of care. What do you think happens? Like, do you think they know stuff? Do you think they're like, oh my God, this is just, this is the way, popularity goes, like all that the fame and all that. Is this the way it goes? Like, they kind of get you on stuff. I don't know. I'm not going to get into all that stuff because it's nasty, but like, how do you like hang out with these dudes? Things happen. And then you just like go back to business, but you were like best friends with them. I don't know. Like, does this affect them on the court, you think? Like, I don't understand how like this stuff just happens and no one asks them in the post-game press conference. Like, hey, listen, Jay-Z, Drake, I know you talked to Jay-Z once because Chris Paul got you on the phone with them. Your thoughts on the whole situation? Like, is this something you think that they think about? Like, oh shit, something happened. Maybe I did something. I don't know. Do you think they worry about it?
Maybe in the moment, because they are friends. You hate to see your quote unquote friends, in public, getting publicly bashed in a sense. But hey, if you didn't do anything, you didn't do anything. So
yeah, I know, but
like,
it's so
weird. You can't control Drake, dropping bars about you, like a book, like I've heard so many Booker bars in the last 3 years, and it's been great, so like
guys are all
he
creeps,
got motion.
So.
Yeah,
I just feel like a lot of those guys are creeps now. I mean, like my worst fallout from a friend was like he was too much of a drunk, right? Like these guys, it's just like, oh no, they did some really bad shit. It's like, okay, I don't know. It's just a crazy world. You don't know these guys.
It's definitely weird. Oh yeah, it's like I don't think everybody that went to a Diddy party did anything,
Yeah.
but like it's hard. I mean, I hate to bring up Always Sunny again, but like Frank is all like, I went to FC's Island, but I only went there for the snorkeling. I think.
What episode was that? Sorry, Jim. Was it one of the last ones?
No, it might have been like season like 11 or 12 or something.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I'm very hazy with those seasons. So
yeah. But it's something like that. It definitely like sucks and stuff. And I don't think these guys are like hanging out all the time because they're busy during like most of the year. With
I know
stuff.
Obviously, but like the white out party and stuff like that.
The white party's weird. Yeah, the white party's weird.
Yeah, just stuff like that. Like I don't know. I feel like it affects him in a way. Like everyone's wondering what happened to Book. It could be the Olympics, or it could be things that he's seen. Who knows?
Goats
All right.
like
Well,
this.
I'm never gonna get a media pass again. I know. I don't think. No, I'm just kidding. I just wonder about those things because like all we do is we sit here, we watch the games, we talk about it player by player, and it's just like I don't know. There's just so much more to everything than just what's on the court. So I just, you know what I mean? Like when you go to work and you have a bad day at home with the wife or something, I feel like it affects you. You know what I mean? So maybe there's something to do with that. So, anyways, so yeah, Jamstar, I give it to Book. Any other comments on today's game or anything you're looking forward to with the Suns? I know we did talk about Jimmy Butler. Did you say true or false? I forget.
If the Butler thing happens,
yeah.
I say 60-40 that he does get traded before the deadline, and I do think it's between Golden State and Phoenix, but I think Phoenix is probably ahead in that. I just don't see any incentive to go to Golden State because like it would just be Jimmy and Steph, and then like AirPods. Like, all right, so
Exactly, yeah.
And so I feel like Butler does want to be here, and I think the fit is seamless, and he's been hungry. Like he gives a F, like he wants to win a chip. He does whatever it takes, and I think he would be a good addition here. 60-40, I say true. He gets traded. I'm hoping it's the Suns. Hopefully we get him sooner than later. I'd rather not wait until February to do this. I'd rather just get it done. And so we can get all these guys on the court, build that continuity, get the game plan going, and just execute. OKC, count your days.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm with you on that one. Man, it's a weird world to be a Suns fan. It's just crazy. I don't know. Just never can be happy. We were happy for a little bit there, but it's just that's I don't know.
We're like 500 right now over
the
some
Diddy
BS
stuff, huh?
That's the Diddy stuff.
Yeah, man. I mean, it really. All right. Well, everybody, make sure you like, subscribe. I know it was a different kind of pod tonight. I just, I think things are kind of up in the air with the Suns. I kind of want to talk about that more and just kind of not focus on tonight's game. It was a great game by the Suns, obviously. The return of Kevin Durant. Nurkic played very good down low. So we have our team back. Beal was out tonight. So we'll keep our eye on that, see if the trade does happen down the line. But for tonight, man, I do appreciate you coming onto the pod. I
Absolutely.
really, really do appreciate it because John is out tonight. So next pod will be me too, and whoever else wants to join the pod. But until then, I say go. Let me hold on. All right, go home, love your family. There you go. I was trying to press a button. Go home and love your family, everybody.